I might do it for the culture.
Hi, welcome to For the Culture Canada. I'm your host, Deepak, and today I have a guest that has been following the show for quite a bit of time now. She's been playing music for a few years now, but she's been just putting out music on all the streaming platforms since about 2019. I'm, of course, talking about Zoe Marie Welch. Thank you so much for being a part of the show. We haven't really spoken that much in real life before, even though we've been following each other for quite a bit of time now. So how you doing?
Thanks for having me. I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I know I just asked that before we started recording and all that, but it's
I was
just
thinking the same thing.
it's all good. It's whatever. It's just kind of formalities. You know how it is.
Exactly.
Yeah. What have you been up to, given the crazy turmoil that's been going on?
Honestly, I would like to say that I've been working and kind of using this time to my advantage, but I haven't really the first few weeks were kind of weird. I just kind of took a step back and chilled. But this week I've been kind of more writing and doing what I normally do from home because I work from home normally. So,
Oh, dope.
yeah. So yeah, just kind of making music and then cooking, watching Netflix. I feel like I'm doing what everyone else is doing.
Yo, listen, I've been doing the same thing.
Yeah.
What have you been watching on Netflix, by the way?
Well, I just finished Suits with my mom.
Suits, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we were obsessed with that. And I'm trying to find a new show now because we binged it every night and now we're kind of left in the dust. So I think we might get into Mad Men. I don't know.
Dope. To be honest, I have to be totally honest. I don't watch a whole lot of Netflix and stuff. I'm just not that kind of guy. But I watched You with My Girlfriend. That's an insane show. You is so good.
I know, it's crazy. I know.
Yeah.
I've only seen the first season, but every single episode they have the most insane cliffhanger.
I know.
Every time you're ending, you're like, what just happened? And he's so hard to hate, but he's so creepy. I want to hate him, but I'm like, you seem so nice. I don't get it.
See, that's the problem.
Yeah,
you like this guy.
That's what they were trying to do. They're trying to play with your head like that.
Yeah, and they kind of do that with Tiger King as well, you know? You know that Joe Exotic is a bad person, but you like him. You want him out of jail.
Yeah.
And, spoiler alert. And and honestly, I would love to just chill with him for get lunch with him and just see what's going on in his head, you know?
Yeah, I know.
That's how I feel.
I hate what he does, but honestly, the memes that have come out of this, everybody talking about it is just too funny not to think he's hilarious.
I know. And this whole Carol Baskin thing that everybody's saying, whenever they say fucking Carol Baskin, it just warms my heart for some reason, which is so weird.
I had that stupid Carol Baskin Savage TikTok remix stuck in my head. Carol Baskin killed her husband. Stuck in my head for 3 days. It's this is what it's come to.
Yeah, my girlfriend's on TikTok all the time, and those songs just pierce my brain. Pierce my brain. It's crazy.
I know.
Oh, by the way, just gonna go back to you for a second. I'm just gonna say that if you liked the first season, I will say the second season is infinitely better.
Oh,
it's
really?
way, way better. If you're looking for a show to watch, the second season is crazy. It's so much. It's got levels to what the first season had.
Oh, okay. Cool.
So
maybe I'll get into that then.
Yeah.
I mean, why not? I have time.
Yeah, I think we all have time. We all have time. Okay, so let's kind of get into your past a little bit.
Okay.
So let's first get into, where are you from? Where's your family from?
So originally I'm from a really small town in Alberta called Wainwright. Super, super tiny. And that's where most of my family is. I do have family out in BC, but my main family is more in Alberta. So my grandma and my grandpa. So yeah, I lived there until I was 9, I think, 9 or 10. And then we moved out here. So I've been out here for a while now.
Oh, okay. Why'd your family move out over to Kelowna?
We used to come on vacations in the summertime, and we were like, if it's a vacation like this all the time, why not live here? So,
right.
So yeah, and I think it was just more opportunities in a bigger place. Like Wainwright is super, super small. So yeah, it was a lot of like different opportunities. Obviously the weather's amazing. Like it just kind of worked for our family. So yeah, I'm glad that we made the move.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. It must be really nice to get away from the Alberta winters.
Yeah. Yeah. I honestly, like, I can't imagine living there now.
Right.
I feel like I'd be such a different person. I was really upset when we were moving here. Like, I was pissed. I was like, because, like when you're young like that, you don't want to leave all your friends and
Oh, sure.
you
Yeah.
think like that's, everything. But yeah, I'm glad that we moved.
Oh, sure. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
And do you keep in touch with any of the people from back then?
Yeah, like my best friend, who's still my best friend, she lives in Edmonton now, and
Okay.
we still keep in touch. But it's mostly just family.
Right.
Yeah, but
Right, right,
yeah,
right,
my best friend. And I mean, it kind of sucks like living so far, but yeah, it's okay.
right. No kidding. No
Yeah,
kidding. I was born and raised here, and Kelowna's cool. It's awesome. I
yeah.
just wish that I could move, to be honest. I wish I
Oh,
could go to
really?
like a bigger city,
Like
like Toronto
Vancouver?
or something.
Yeah.
Vancouver's cool. I've been there a lot, and it's cool, but it's just I don't know. I feel like it's a little too familiar for me
Right.
at this point, which is kind of a weird thing. I know people would rather have like a familiarity before they move, but like for
Yeah.
me, I'm just anytime I go to like a new big city, I'm just like, whoa, the vibe is so crazy,
Yeah, I feel the same way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you like big cities, or are you more like a
Yeah.
smaller town person?
No, I like big cities. Like, I think I'll end up either Vancouver, like, even like I was in LA a few years ago and I absolutely loved it there. Like, oh my God, it's so cool. So either there too, and like I've been to New York, which is amazing too. Honestly, if I could just have an apartment like at every big city, that would be the best.
Wouldn't that be the dream, hey?
Yeah.
That'd be lit.
Yeah, just
I
go
was
whenever you want.
I was in New York City actually in 2018
Yeah.
November. No, sorry. Yeah, wait. It was around Fashion Week. We were there for Fashion Week and
Oh
like a bunch of other
no.
things. It was sick.
Crazy.
It was so sick.
That's so cool.
I remember like seeing my girlfriend and I were just walking around like Central Park and stuff, and then
Yeah.
we eventually just came across like these big lights and stuff, and like all these crowds of people just like walking into a distance.
Oh my God.
And then we see this like lineup and all these people taking pictures and stuff, and everybody started yelling out Blake, Blake, and I turned to my girlfriend, I'm like, who are they talking about? She was like, it's Blake Lively. I'm like, what? No way.
I would flip. Oh my God.
Yeah, and then as we head down, there's like more people heading into a particular direction, and we eventually see this giant hotel and these long lineups of people, and all of a sudden, this is the epicenter of Fashion Week, and so we see all these cars and limos pull up,
Oh my
and all of
God.
a sudden, we see Cardi B pull up,
No.
and then she goes ahead. And you know who pulls up later? Nicki Minaj. And you know what
No.
happened? That was the night that Nicki actually threw,
They got
or
in a
it was
fight.
one. Yeah, that's when the fight happened.
You were
That
physically
night.
there for the fight.
No, I was on the outside. She was on like the inside of the hotel, which we
Right.
couldn't get into because we're like normal people.
Right.
But yeah, that's what happened that night, and it was crazy. It was like the energy was amazing.
That's so cool.
Yeah,
Oh my
yeah,
gosh.
and it was just like I saw like Meek Mill. I saw one of the Kardashians. I think it was Courtney
Oh
as
my
well,
goodness. You saw
and
everybody.
I think Kendall just like ran through like all the paparazzi with her hand over her
Classic.
face and stuff. But yeah, but I don't know about you, but I think Kendall is one of my favorite. I think she's my favorite Kardashian.
She
I don't
seems
know what.
cool. She seems like very down to earth, which is nice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's exactly why I think that she's my favorite.
Yeah, I think so too. Either her or like I think, like honestly, I think Chris is hilarious. Like she just cracks me up. Like she's
Yeah.
absolutely nuts. She's like crazy, but it's
Yeah.
so funny.
Yeah, totally. You're totally right about that
Yeah.
one. Yeah. Anyway, let's let's veer back into what's
Anyways.
going on with you. So so you moved to Kelowna and right around 10 or so. And so what was your experience like into growing up here, and how did you get into music?
So when I moved here, my parents wanted us to go to a private school. So we went to a school called Vendetta Academy.
Oh, okay, yep.
Yeah. And then it eventually turned into an art school. So they would like incorporate basically any type of art into each class. Like the way we would learn math would be through like project-based learning. And so yes, but I was also a dancer. Like I was a dancer from the time I was 3. So I kept dancing when I moved here, and I was like really into dance. Like I danced competitively, and that's where I had my whole friend group and everything. Like we'd be with each other like 20 hours a week just at the dance studio. So I think that's what
Wow.
kind of, yeah. So that's what kind of got me into the more like stagey side of things, because I just loved like being on stage and having people watch me. So the dance kind of turned into doing musical theater at school, which obviously involved acting, singing, and dancing. So yeah, I think that's where I started singing. Like I think in grade 5 we did the play Annie, and
Okay.
yeah, and I had to like get up on the table and sing and pretend to be drunk, and it was like the best moment of my life. But after my the director of the play and the principal of our school was like, "Oh, Zoe, like you should take singing lessons." So I started singing lessons, and then it kind of just grew from that.
Right. And at this point, you're a multi-instrumentalist, right?
Yeah, well, sort of. Like I did learn guitar at school, and
Right.
I do play piano. Like I don't play really well,
Mm.
um, but like good enough to be able to write music, which is nice.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. So, you started getting into plays and things like that. And at what point did you start more so taking the shift over to music then?
So I think it was, yeah, it was around when I was 16. So I graduated school when I was 16, and I graduated early because I wanted to pursue acting and music.
Right.
So I was just like, let's just get this done and we can go do the
Right.
fun stuff.
Right.
So yeah, and then when I was 16 that summer was when I wrote my first song, which is on my EP. It's called Flatlined. And
Oh, okay. Yep.
yeah, and after that, I was just like, after I knew that I could write music, because I always wanted to, but I didn't think I could. So after I knew I could write a song, it just like kind of snowballed into me writing like hundreds of songs.
Right.
Yeah, and that was when I was like, okay, I can actually like really take this music part of it seriously, like because I have the tools that I need to to make my own music.
Gotcha. Gotcha. And did you find that at when you were at the point of writing your own songs, did the acting kind of like go over to the wayside?
No, not really. For I mean, I still am doing both. Like I'm with an agency in Vancouver for my acting and my music, actually, but more so for my acting. Um, and I was kind of juggling both. I just kind of go with what is like what's keeping me busier at the moment, which just since putting my EP out has been my music.
Right.
Um, but yeah, I'm still like training and everything with acting, but music right now is just like very like in my face in terms of what's
Mm.
keeping me busy, which is nice. Like I'm fine with that.
Right. And the thing
Mhm.
about your music is that it's just so it's so cathartic, right? There's so much there's some it like pulls at the heartstrings kind of thing, you know what I mean? I
That's the
wanted to
plan.
actually yeah, I wanted to actually ask you about your EP as promised,
Hmm.
right? And especially when I was listening to Flatlined actually, by the way, it's pretty good for a first song,
Thank you.
just saying. But the very end of it, you had that monologue, and you said, "Knowing I won't let you in again." I was just like, "Oh, who is that guy or girl?" And like, if I heard that as them, I would have been like, "Ouch!" I would have been like, my heart. So
Oh,
was this written for a specific person?
so it's funny because 3 of the songs on the EP, I all wrote them when I was 16. I wrote them all within probably like a week.
Right,
But 3 of them were about someone who I had had like a summer fling with,
right,
who like obviously broke my heart. And
yeah,
then one was about someone who I had from way before, who I had dated for a long time. And then those monologues actually I wrote those around this time last year about a totally different person. So it's kind of about different people.
Right,
But
right,
they all kind of seem to sound like the same situation, which is
right.
interesting. But yeah, I I had just like when I wrote the monologues, I was pretty heartbroken, and basically what was happening was I like when I'm writing or in a writing sort of mode, I'll just be like walking around in the middle of the day or whatever, and like sentences or phrases will come to me. So I'll just have to write them down if I'm not at home actually writing. So all these like phrases kept like coming into my head and basically just made this like long poem. And I couldn't really write any songs with them, but I was like, okay, well, I really want to include these in the EP. So I just kind of broke them down into tiny little poems and put them in
Oh, gotcha.
there.
Very cool.
Yeah,
Very cool.
yeah.
And would do you ever plan on releasing like the full thing if you haven't already out there, like on a WordPress or a
Like the
blog?
poem?
Yeah.
I haven't, but that's a good idea. I should.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think fans would be really interested in that. I mean, yeah, I think that'd be cool.
yeah. I personally, I like when artists do stuff like that. Just like have a little let in on their personal experiences. I think that's what makes me want to listen to a lot of music.
Yeah, same. I feel
Yeah,
the exact same way. It's kind of why I love looking up at like say artist interviews so I can get an insight onto what their process is,
totally.
or even say Genius, right?
Hmm.
Where you look at people's lyrics and you can see what they mean and everything.
Yeah, I love those little YouTube lyric videos they do, and they kind of break down all the lines and stuff. It's so cool.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Do you have any other kind of like interesting tidbits about any particular song at all?
I mean, they all have their own kind of thing. Like, I wrote Flatlined in a car. So there is
Okay.
that. But I wrote that one because I had obviously like just had my heart broken. And
Right.
I wasn't the one to end things. The other person was.
Sure, yeah.
So but when it happened, it was really weird. Like I'm a very emotional person. And I feel things quite deeply, like all the time. um, but when this happened, it was like everything sort of went numb and I
Yeah.
couldn't really feel anything. And then I was trying to kind of describe what that felt like. And then I just kind of saw like, like a heart monitor. When it flatlines, you just feel like nothing. So that was the inspiration behind that song. Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
It paints really nice imagery.
I feel like I'm a very visual person. So I think a lot of my lyrics are kind of like, even like Turn on the Lights,
Hmm.
um, that has a lot of imagery in it. And yeah, so I think when I write, I try to make it so people can like really understand it. It's not like something you have to figure out.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Hmm.
Yeah, you want to make it easy to understand and people to relate to.
Totally.
And that's kind of what got my attention when listening to your music because I was able to kind of relate it to my experiences of like heartbreak
Hmm.
and things like that. Do you know if the people that you made these things about have listened to your songs at all?
I actually have no idea. When the wound is there and you're writing and you're like, God, I hope he hears this. Like that, like, I'm not even going to lie. Like, that is definitely how I feel sometimes when I'm writing. But by the time it gets out there, which can be like 2 years, a year later, you really don't care if that person hears. You just care if like a plethora of people hear and they enjoy it. So
Yeah.
yeah, I really don't know. Like I haven't heard if they have listened to it. I mean, I would,
Right.
and honestly, I even think like if maybe one of them heard it, they wouldn't really know it's about them, or they might think that a song that's not about them is about them. So
Right, right.
yeah,
You keep it ambiguous.
yeah, I try
Yeah.
to because I don't offend anybody.
Yeah, definitely. That's a good call on your part.
Yeah, like I'm not trying to like trash anybody or like expose anything, but
Right.
yeah.
Right, right. I've made a couple of songs about like people that I am no longer with,
Mhm.
and I remember making this music video, and I put it out there, and that person actually messaged me and she said, "Oh, I watched your
Oh
video,"
my goodness.
and I was the one that broke it off because it was just like not a healthy place for me,
Yeah.
and I never responded to her ever
Oh,
again.
oh
Which
my God.
I was just so done at that point. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
You've probably been to that place.
Yeah, by the time it's out, it's like whatever. I just hope like that other, 16-year-old girl who was once me can be like sassy and just be like, I don't need you. Like that's what I'd rather like people get out of it than to have that person hear it. But because
Right.
I mean, like hearing a song about yourself isn't going to change you. So
Yeah.
so yeah, it's more about the other people, obviously. But yeah, that's
Yeah.
funny. But you reached out. Oh,
Yeah, I just it was weird.
mhm.
I don't know, it was weird. I don't keep
Like,
in contact with that person anymore, obviously.
what do you even say to that?
Well, to be honest, like I was kind of torn. One part of me was just like, ignore it. You're better. You'll be healthier if you just keep on moving forward. Another
Yeah.
part of me was like, wanting to ask her, like, what'd you think?
You like it?
Well, I wanted to just kind of like, I wanted to know, like, hey, how did you feel about this?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I just felt like it would have been kind of more of like, it would have just reeled me back into the situation, and
Not good.
it was just such a cathartic way to kind of like break it off and just, albeit I will say it's a little melodramatic, but on my part, but whatever. I was young.
You have
Leave me
to do what
alone.
you have to do. Some of mine, like some of my newer stuff, like the smallest thing can happen to me and I'll blow it up into this huge stuff. That's how I am in real life. Like I'm not actually crazy in real life,
Right.
but like, I gotta write. So like I kind
Yeah.
of blow things out of proportion just to make songs sometimes. Um,
Hmm.
but yeah, I mean, like if it's melodramatic, whatever. If it sounds good, I'm
Yo,
sure someone's
listen.
been through it.
I mean, come on, Zoe. Like, we gotta have it like attractive. We gotta make people be like, "What are they talking about? What is
Exactly.
that?"
Exactly. Yeah, you have to have the drama. Otherwise, it's
Yeah,
just lame.
exactly, exactly. You know what's up.
Yeah, as long as you're
Yeah.
keeping the drama out of your actual life, then it's fine.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. That's
Yeah.
how us as artists, we can like be like normal around normal people. Otherwise, like if we had no outlet, I don't know if we'd be able to function.
I would actually combust. I don't know what would happen. Yeah,
Yeah,
I often think about like what if I didn't know that I could write? Like what would I do?
yeah,
I don't know how I would comb through my feelings. Like I would be a mess.
yeah. Literally,
Yeah.
literally. It's kind of like, man, I am just so thankful that I have the ability to do that. Right?
Hmm.
It's just kind of like some people just have no way of expressing themselves, and it just ends up being so unhealthy for them.
Yeah. Yeah. Or they
Yeah,
just yeah, like some people just haven't found it and they go
yeah.
years without finding it. Like you could be 50 and you just find out that you can, you know, paint or something and yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, that's kind of why artistic expression, in my opinion, is just so important, right?
Hmm.
I just think it's whether you get it out in dance, even just writing it out in journals and shit, I think is
Yeah.
just so important.
Yeah, nobody even has to see it. It's just for you,
Yeah,
but yeah, I'm grateful.
yeah, it's lit.
Yeah.
It's lit. I wanted to ask you as well. I remember you were performing at Fireside Festival,
Mhm.
and that clip of Love Song, just like, it's just so catchy. It plays into my head all the time.
Thank you.
Tell me, what's the background of that song?
Yeah, so I went on like a little writing stint. I think it was around the time a little bit before my EP came out because I had just sort of like wrapped up all the everything on that before it got put out into the world. So I was able to actually like write new music. Um, so I went through this week where I wrote probably like 20 some songs.
Wow.
Yeah, it was weird. It was just like four were coming out a day. Like it was very odd. I mean, obviously not all of them were keepers, but Love Song was one of them. And I think it was just like I was writing about this classic. I was writing about this person who broke my heart. And
Right.
it had been like months that had gone by. And I was writing the sort of like sassier songs. Like I wrote one called Too Bad. That's on my set list. And it's like Too Bad for You sort of thing. And just like sassy songs. And then I realized, okay, Zoe, you've never written an actual love song for someone. Like obviously I've been in relationships, but I've never really I've tried to write love songs, but they haven't turned out, which is probably like a sign that I didn't listen to. But yeah, I've never really written like a good love song. So I was like, I'm just gonna write it for this person. And even though they had hurt me very badly, I kind of wanted to send that good energy out to them, I guess, just to make myself feel better.
Right.
So yeah, it's basically a love song for someone who, I mean, it's ended, but you just want them to know that you actually did love them. And I think I was
Mm,
able to do that because it had been months that had gone by. So it wasn't quite as painful anymore.
right.
Yeah, and then I was like, let's do it on Valentine's Day. So we just did like a live off the floor recording of it and put it out on Valentine's Day.
Perfect. I love that.
Yeah.
Oh, and the engineer that helped you make that song was Mike Peterson.
Yes. Mike did my whole EP. Yeah, Mike's amazing.
Yeah, Mike is awesome. I actually put out an album with my band called Stay Lush, and he helped engineer some parts of it.
Oh,
But
sweet.
I feel so bad actually because I didn't actually go through with his mixes of my album just because it wasn't exactly hitting the way that I wanted it to.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just putting it out there in the universe. I'm sure he feels like totally chill with it and everything because he's just such a chill
He
guy.
is so
But just
chill.
being who I am, I'm just like, I'm so sorry, Mike.
No, Mike is very like understanding of literally everything. Like before we did the EP, I've known Mike since I was like 14. Because
Oh wow.
I used to record covers with him in his old studio. Um,
Oh.
yeah. But then when I asked him to do my EP, I was really like I had no idea what I was doing, honestly. Like I had no clue. I had never made my own music before. So but he told me, he was like, like if there's stuff you don't want, like I'm not gonna be offended that if you don't like what I do, like we can change it. This is your stuff that we're putting out. So he's really made me like learn and be able to say to people like, okay, that's not what I want. I wanted
Yeah.
this instead, which is like an amazing lesson, because if you're a person that's like super nice, like obviously you, or I feel like sometimes I'm too nice, you just kind of let it be or you feel bad
Right.
about it.
Right.
But yeah, he was really like awesome with me being sort of like the boss man
Right.
of it all. Yeah.
Right. Well, it's important to be very, for me at least, it's important to be very specific about what you want, right? And
Totally.
when sometimes when people don't give you that, you have to just kind of be like firm. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah.
Not mean, but firm, which is kind of sometimes a soft line,
Yeah. It's
right?
definitely a soft line. Like, yeah. And I feel like sometimes it's harder for females too to be firm, because then you sort of look like a BI, which is like
Right.
the last thing like that I want to come off as. But at the same time, it's like, hey, this is my face that's going out on this music. Like at the end of the day, people, it's my name on it. So this is what I want. We have to have it like this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
most definitely.
Hmm.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? By the way, I've totally come to terms with like just putting it out here right now. I've totally come to terms with how I felt with that. So
Yeah.
I'm good now.
Good.
I'm good now. Yeah. And so you've been writing quite a bit since we've been doing this quarantine. We've been in this situation.
Yeah, this week I've been writing a lot. Before, like the first 2 weeks of quarantine, I didn't really write because I felt like I was in shock. I mean,
Mm,
everybody was.
yeah.
So, and I just felt like really uninspired. But lately I've been way more inspired and um, writing way more, which makes me feel a lot better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you been writing about the quarantine? What have you been writing about?
No, I have like I was thinking, oh, should I write about everything that's going on? But I I don't even know what to say about it yet. So
Mm,
I'm kind of waiting to like maybe when it's over I'll write about it.
right.
Um but I've been trying to write happier music.
Right.
So like normally I write about experiences that I have and I can't always make stuff up, but I've been kind of trying to write about like the other day I wrote a song about summer and like finding love in summer. Like that sounds super cheesy. I promise it's not, but um, but yeah. So I'm kind of trying to like think of positive things to write about because that uplifts me as well.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and yeah. It's honestly it's harder to write happier things.
Isn't
And
that weird?
it's so weird. Yeah, yeah, but
Yeah.
yeah, it's been good.
Yeah. Cool. 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 Well, I kind of feel like for people, it's a lot easier to express themselves when they're pissed off or sad versus when they're happy. I mean,
Mhm.
take a look at like reviews on the internet and stuff. You know what I
They're
mean?
all mean. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Or like Facebook.
yeah,
Facebook's just mean all the way through.
I hate Facebook. I
I
hate it.
know.
It's
I
just
know.
like
Me
a
too.
big rant things, and then your relatives post like really things that they shouldn't, and like yeah,
Yeah.
it's so negative.
Yeah. And especially honestly with this like COVID situation, there's so much misinformation and like
Yeah,
all this sort of stuff that people say with so much confidence that it can come across as factual to some
yeah,
people. And I'm just like, this looks bad. You know
yeah,
what I mean? Just
yeah,
like if I was a potential employer, I'd be like, you're nuts,
yeah,
right?
yeah. Totally, you have to be so careful with what you put out
Yeah.
there. Yeah,
Yeah. So I'm just like, I'm out of here. I'm not gonna be a part of this.
yeah,
See
totally.
ya. That's just me.
Yeah.
But by the way, you must be missing performing so
Oh my
much.
gosh. Yeah, I was just thinking about that yesterday. Just reminiscing on the times. Yeah, it's I mean it's okay. I'm okay with it and everybody's going through it, which makes it a little bit you feel a little bit comforted by that everybody's had to postpone their shows and stuff, but
Yeah.
there definitely was things that I'm still really excited about, but they're just being pushed back, which kind of sucks. But yeah, I love performing. Like I still think
Hmm.
about how fun Fireside was. Um,
Fireside was
Oh
lit. That
my
was a great
gosh.
time.
Fireside was
Yeah.
so fun. It was my first year, so I didn't know what
Mm,
to expect. But yeah, it was so much fun.
right. Yeah, Fireside was a lot of fun. I was so exhausted from work though that week that I was just kind of like I'm the kind of person that I could be really talkative with people and stuff like that, but
Yeah,
when I'm just around people all the time, I need my alone time to just kind of recharge. And
absolutely.
that night I probably wasn't all that I probably didn't give off the vibe of being all that talkative, I'm sure.
I thought you were
Um,
talkative.
really? Did
Yeah,
you?
you're very personable.
Oh,
So
thank you.
yeah,
I appreciate
easy to
that.
obviously you have a podcast, like easy to talk with.
Right.
Yeah, I know what you mean though. You have to
Yeah.
prepare yourself to be with that many people.
Kind of, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
You know what? I was just like, honestly, I wish Fireside was like, I don't know. I wish I could have like sat down for like 5 hours or something just so I could like be alone and then go there. But
Yeah.
whatever. Though it was still sick. It
Yeah,
was
it was
still awesome.
amazing. Everyone was so good.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And man, Postmodern Connection killed it.
Oh my
By the
gosh.
way,
They're so good every time.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, no, they were awesome. They're so sweet too. Like
yeah.
I really appreciate how sweet like tag out every time we're doing sort of something that's at the same thing. He always
Hmm.
like comes up to me and gives me a big hug and like they're all so nice. So it's so nice to be surrounded by people like that.
Yeah, yeah, and those guys are really funny too. They have
I
amazing
know.
stage presence.
I know. They're so like they're just so authentic and themselves. It's so nice to watch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I love it. I just love their shows. They do a great job with the crowd and everything.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would love to see actually a collaboration between you two. Like Postmodern Connection and Zoe, like that would be sick.
That would be
That'd
very
be
cool.
yeah.
Yeah, that would be sweet.
Yeah.
There's so many good musicians in Kelowna.
Or even you and just Tega, you know what I mean? I think collaborative work doesn't happen that often here in Kelowna, you know? And
Yeah.
and even rappers, like there's tons of rappers here in Kelowna
Mhm.
and nobody hops on each other's tracks. And I'm like, that's the thing that makes people like when you see like, say, I don't know how much rap you listen to.
Quite a bit.
But yes, but
Yeah.
like when you see like Drake and Future on a track, you're just like, oh my God, this is gonna be
Yeah.
instant
It's
and
gonna be fire,
classic.
obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm just like, why don't the people around here do that more often?
I know. I love like when people collaborate, when artists collaborate. It's so cool. And then you're bringing, like their fan base and your fan base together, and then they cross over, and it's just like a win-win all the time.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would love to collaborate with lots of people. Tega would be awesome. I feel like we have a similar vibe sort of when it comes to a lot of things, so that'd be sweet.
Yeah. That's kind of why I thought of that as
Hmm.
well, because you guys seem like you do have very good, similar kind of vibes,
Hmm.
right? And yeah, I think it'd be sick. I think that'd be really cool.
Yeah, yeah, it'd be awesome. Just drop a hint.
Yeah. Well, people that listen to the podcast will like get it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And yeah, that's kind of why I do the podcast, because I like to collaborate with people too.
yeah, yeah,
So yeah, cross audiences.
yeah. Totally. It's always a win-win.
Yeah,
Hmm.
definitely. So, by the way, I wanted to ask you, you have quite a bit of instrumentation in your music when you're in your albums and stuff,
Hmm.
or EP. Um, is it all the same people, or is it different people, session musicians, or is it you?
So for my EP, I did have all the same session players. So they're kind of all over the map. So I have Kelly, who did my guitar, and then I have Tony, who did my drums, Neville, who did my keys, and Neville actually is part of my live band as well. So at
Mm,
Fireside, that was Neville. And then Darcy Booth, who's from Kelowna, he was on bass. And then I did have Julia for strings on one of the songs. I think that's it. Yeah, but yeah, they all did four songs. They all, yeah.
gotcha.
Yeah, they're awesome, and I know them through Mike. Mike was the one who put them all together. Um,
Right.
yeah,
Gotcha.
yeah,
Gotcha. Cool. And your live band, it's always the same people, right?
yeah. Well, we've actually only played um, 3 times together, I think.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. So Neville, who was on my EP, he is on keys, and then Garrett Scatterdy, guitar, Dylan Ranney is drums, and Reese Boardman is on bass. And then
Gotcha.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
and they're awesome.
Yeah, you know what? I was taking note of your drummer actually when I was there at Fireside. I was
Yeah.
like, man, he's killing it.
Oh
He
my
does a
god,
great job.
Dylan is so good, and he's he's so funny, and just like rehearsals with them are hilarious. Like I was really nervous going into the first few rehearsals with them because they've been doing this for a really long time.
Right.
Um, and I was kind of like, hey, it's my first time. But they made me feel really comfortable, and like they listen um,
Yeah.
to me, which is nice, and they have a lot of creative input with everything. So yeah, Dylan is absolutely hilarious. I've come down to tears with him. He's so funny.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And only 3 times too, hey?
Yeah, so we did my EP release show at Fernando's, which is in October, and
Right.
that was a very like last minute thing. I had booked Fernando's, and but it was like super last minute, and then I had a band, but I had different people, and like it happened where I think 4 different times people had pulled out, so I
Mm,
kept having to like get Mike's help and like rush around Kelowna trying to figure out a guitar player or a bass player and blah blah blah. So by the time we got like a solid band, I think it was only like a week until the show, and they only knew my EP songs, but I had I think maybe no not 10, 8 other songs that I had just written like a month
what?
prior. So and the worst part is I didn't at that time I wasn't recording anything. So I literally recorded these new songs that I had on voice memos on my iPhone and sent them to
Wow.
the guys and I was like, "Can we do this?" And thankfully they're all like amazing enough that we could pull it off.
Right.
But yeah, it was a little bit stressful.
That's wild.
Yeah,
Wow.
but we did it, and it was super fun. And that's like
Cool.
my set list now. Like that's, and then we did Denenzi's, which was so much fun, and then
Right.
Fireside.
Oh, I see. I see.
Yeah,
Cool. Cool.
yeah.
Cool. That's so awesome. And what are you still practicing dancing at all at this point?
No, so I stopped dancing when I graduated. So when I was 16.
Mm,
But I miss it a lot.
mm.
Yeah, but I am doing rehearsals for something that I can't really talk about yet. But
Ooh.
yeah, but so there will be some upcoming dancing stuff that involves my music. But yeah,
Right.
I miss it a lot.
Sick. I
Hmm.
would love to see you incorporate your dancing with your music. That'd be
I
awesome.
think it'll be cool. Yeah, it's something that I haven't really done before, like mixing the two. But I mean, why not?
Right, right,
Yeah.
right, right. Have you are you on TikTok very much?
No. So
No?
I got TikTok like maybe 2 weeks ago, made an account, and I couldn't figure out how to make a freaking TikTok, so I deleted it.
Oh.
Yeah, but they're pretty entertaining to watch.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, and I'm very impressed by the amount of people that can do the dances very flawlessly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's mind-blowing
Have
the
you made one?
creativity. I I'm told that I should make a TikTok. I do have one, but I don't post anything. I just like look at stuff.
Yeah.
And but people have been telling me I should make a TikTok. Like I actually dyed a denim jacket like hot pink
Oh,
uh
cool.
like a couple of weeks ago, and they're like, this would be sick on TikTok. I've had a bunch of people message me about that. I don't know. I like doing different projects and whatever. So I don't know. I just can't seem to. I just can't. I don't think I'm good enough of a dancer to make like really entertaining dance videos. But I don't know. Maybe projects. I guess.
I think you should. I think you should do it. Like honestly, I feel like everybody can do the dances. They're pretty easy.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
look
Yeah.
pretty easy. I mean, I haven't really tried many, so I don't quote me, but they
Right.
look easy enough. I think you could. You should do it while wearing the jacket.
While wearing the jacket.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
And then
All right.
everyone on TikTok will be like, "Oh, how did you make that jacket?" Then you can make a TikTok about that.
Smart.
Mm-hmm.
That's smart. You got
Business
ideas, Zoe.
minded.
Maybe you and I could team up and make a TikTok. You
Yes.
could be like the brains behind it.
Yes. I can market
Yeah.
your TikTok. It'll be great.
That would be so sick. That's funny. That's
Yeah.
funny. So I wanted to kind of get into some questions from the audience of For the Culture Canada. I do have a couple here. Let me just pull it up here.
I've been excited to hear these. I was actually nervous that there might not be any questions
Oh, really?
that
No, you
people
got a
would ask.
couple.
Oh, good. Okay.
So the first one is from Jatinder. He says, "What's your vertical?
What is that?
How high can you jump?"
Oh God. Pretty high actually. I would say like, does it mean like how far your head can kind of go up?
I guess so, yeah.
I think I could end up being 6'2", maybe. I mean,
What?
I'm
Really?
like 5'3", but I can jump very high. That was like one of my
Wow.
strong suits when I was dancing. I don't know if I could do that anymore though.
Oh,
Maybe I'll
I
have
see.
to.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll have to check. That is
How high is your like bed frame posts behind you?
Oh, those would definitely be like 6'5" at least.
Oh, if you trained hard enough, do you think you'd be able to reach that high?
Oh yeah, I
Yeah.
think so. Yeah. I'll try this when we're done here.
You should try it now. I would love to see that on the podcast here. That'd be sick.
Can we try?
Yeah, do it.
Okay. Take that a little. How was that? Did I even reach it?
You were very close.
Oh my gosh,
You were very close.
Okay, well there we go.
No, that's cool. That's cool. You're the first person to jump on my podcast. So
Awesome.
it's a big achievement for you.
Love it.
All right. Okay. Next one. What's your favorite local or mainstream clothing brand that is from Optimist?
Oh, I I really like well, they used to be called Basement Heads.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's what a lot of people still know them as. Yeah, I love
Yeah.
Basement. And they're doing so much cool stuff now too that they're in Vancouver.
Yeah.
There's a store, it's like a secondhand store called Lost Together. And yeah.
Oh.
And I know like they make some of their stuff and then they thrift some of their stuff as well, I'm pretty sure. And I found it and I was like, this is such a hidden gem. Why does like everybody needs to know about this? It's the coolest
Right.
thrift store.
Yeah.
So awesome.
You know what? My girlfriend goes there all the time with her friends.
Yeah.
I've even got some clothing from Lost Together.
Yeah, I know. It's so cool. They have such a sick vibe.
Yeah, they do. They
So,
do. It's got a little bit more culture than like a few other kind of
yeah,
spots around.
yeah,
here.
it's different. It definitely it has its own like style, which is awesome. And I really like actually it's men's clothing, but Grey Hearts denim. They just
Oh, yeah.
started, and yeah, I've been in their store a few times, and I follow them on Instagram, and they do like really cool stuff. Yeah, so I would say those three.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Good to know. Good to know. Dope. And before we wrap this up here, did you have any questions for me at all?
What's your favorite part about doing this podcast?
Favorite part? I love connecting with people.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's really cool to be able to like talk to other like artistic people that are like doing cool shit. I think that's awesome.
Totally.
Yeah, I grew up in Rutland, and not that many people at my time were doing things like what you're doing, or like say for example, I don't know, it was totally different back then. I feel like an old man. I probably don't look that old, but how old do you think I am?
If I had to guess, 23.
23. Yeah, I hear that a lot. Somebody said that like a customer at my job like months ago told me that I looked like I was 40. I'm like,
that's rude.
40? What do you?
You do not look 40. They need glasses.
I don't know what they're talking about. And the funny thing is that like I was a bit thinner back like a few years ago. People thought I was 19 all the time.
Mm-hmm.
But to go from 19 to 40 in like a year is just like,
that's
what?
Dumb.
It's weird.
I've had someone tell me that I look 30. And I was like,
rude.
Really?
Rude.
I don't think so. But whatever.
Nah.
You just brush it off.
Yeah. No, I'm actually 26.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, I'm 26.
Okay. Yeah,
Maybe it's my complexion. Maybe it's the skincare.
Your skincare is just so on point that you're gonna look young forever. Yeah.
My real talk though, my parents have like pretty like good complexion.
Oh, right? You're blessed.
So I'm kind of like,
you're
hey,
so lucky.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, anyway, I was just saying, yeah, I like connecting with people. I think it's really cool to be able to just like meet people that are like doing really cool things and being able to just talk to them and like make stories and stuff. Just like how you like to find out new tidbits about music and things. I'm the exact same way with everything that I'm really into. So like, I just watched Django Unchained yesterday for the first time, which is sick.
I haven't seen that.
It's I don't know what kind of styles of movies you're into.
Pretty much every style.
Okay, because it's directed by Quentin Tarantino. His films are known for being like really violent.
Yeah, no, I know of the movie. I just haven't seen it because I'm a little terrified.
Well, I don't blame you. I will say there were some parts that I was just like, oh my, what am I watching? But it was sick though. I would give it a 10 out of 10, and just like as a regular movie watcher kind of guy.
Yeah.
But it's sick though. As soon as it was done, I just started looking up stuff about that movie, like interviews and like trivia and whatever. Just kind of, I don't know. I guess I'm like geeky that way.
No, I totally get that. It's so cool to see in behind of everything that you like watch or listen to. I totally understand.
Yeah. So that's one of the biggest things I really like about it. And plus it's really empowering. I'm sure you feel the same way about your music, right? You just feel good about doing something that you just feel like represents your personality and who you are and all
Yes,
that.
absolutely. Yeah. And you've had a lot of episodes. Like what number is this?
54.
Oh my gosh. That's impressive. Yeah, you've
Thanks.
talked to a lot of people.
You know what? I will be honest. It doesn't even feel like I have done any. It feels like I literally just started last week.
Really? That's
Yeah,
good.
really.
That's
Yeah.
good.
And I'm just like, I genuinely, I feel like what I'm trying to reach is here, and I'm here right now,
Mhm.
and I just need time to reach this place. And I just have so much stuff that I'm trying to figure out with this.
Mhm.
And so, yeah, it's gonna be cool. It's gonna be lit.
I love your new branding.
Oh, thank you. I
Yeah,
appreciate that.
level 2. Love that.
Yeah,
And
thank you.
the photos and everything, like the black and white with the color in the background and everything, it looks so clean and nice. It's awesome. Like it
Appreciate
looks
that.
so
Thank you.
professional.
I appreciate that a lot. Thank
Yeah.
you. I had a bunch of people tell me that like level 1 back when it wasn't even called that, but like the previous version of it,
Mhm.
they were saying, "Oh yeah, your page looks super professional." I'm like, "Really?" And but now I'm like really trying to like hone in on the aesthetics and
Yeah.
everything. The reason why I like don't post out more stuff more consistently is because I'm trying to always work out the aesthetics over and over and over again. I'll
Mhm.
show my like girlfriend and my friends, and they'll tell me like it's not that great yet, and I'll just be like, okay, what do I have to fix? And I'll redo it, and I'll over and over and over again. So that's how the aesthetic came to be the way that it is
Mhm.
because previous versions of that were crappy looking, and so now they're at a place that I'm satisfied with. And so hearing that from you means a lot to me, and I appreciate that.
Oh
Thank
yeah,
you.
of course. Of course.
Yeah, and I'm trying to keep that same level of quality with like all the stuff that we do when it turns into video and
Yeah.
beyond that.
Beyond. Yeah, no, it's important to I think it's important to make sure that everything is like visually appealing as well because
Yeah,
I mean, social media now and all of that like it's a visual medium and that's what people are attracted to and
yeah,
they definitely judge books by their covers.
100%. I think
So
that's human nature.
yeah, totally. And I mean, like, it's not really anything to be ashamed of in terms of like that. I mean, obviously in real life, don't judge people by the way they look,
Yeah,
but different
yeah,
things like that. Like you want to listen to something that looks professional.
right.
Which yeah, you're doing a great job.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah, of
Thank you.
course.
And you're doing a great job as well. I love
Oh,
your
thanks.
music. I love how vulnerable and candid it can be,
Mhm.
right? And I think that's a really important quality to what you do. And so the only thing I want to tell you is just keep on doing it because what you're doing is great.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Of course, of course. Did you have any final words before we go?
Well, thank you for having me. I
Of
feel
course.
like
Thank you for being a part of the show.
yeah, I've been following this for so long, and I was really stoked when you asked me to do it.
Cool.
So yeah, I'm happy that we got to do this.
Yeah, no worries. No worries. You want to know a secret?
Hmm.
Every single time that I ask somebody to be a part of the show, I always think that they're going to say no. I'm
Oh,
like,
oh my gosh.
I always think that like they're probably going to say no. No one gives a shit, like that sort of thing.
Yeah.
I'm not being like harsh to myself. I'm just like, it just feels like every time somebody says yes, it's like reality changes to me. It's like this is a new opportunity that just opened up all of a sudden. It's like this is different from the previous reality. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Every time someone asks me to do something, like a lot of the times, like I try to be confident most of the time, but you know, like you have your moments, and a lot of the
Right.
times I'm like, oh, like they probably won't ask me to do that, or like I probably won't get that gig. But then when you do, or like when someone asks you to do it, or you know book a show or whatever, you're like, oh my god, this is yes,
Yeah.
exciting, yeah.
It is exciting. It's a lot of fun.
Hmm.
It's a lot of fun, and I can't wait until we can start seeing like live shows and whatnot again. I
Too.
miss that stuff. Live concerts have been like my like oh my god, they're so deep in my essence. Like I need that.
I know. I need to like do it. Like I need to perform. So
Yeah. Oh,
exciting for when it's all over.
same. By the way, are there any live acts that you were looking forward to seeing this year or anything?
Well, I was gonna go to Alicia Keys. which is
Oh,
obviously, I'm pretty sure, postponed. So yeah, I was looking forward to that because she is a boss. But
yes, she is.
yeah, hopefully it'll just be like changed in time, which is okay with me. But yeah,
Yeah.
how about you?
Uh, Joe Rogan was supposed to be in 4 days
No,
for me.
you missed
Yeah.
Joe. Oh my gosh,
I was on floor seats. Like there's like the stage right here, and I'm like right very close to the stage,
that
like three
hurts.
rows away. But it was moved to October, and I
Oh, okay.
still get to keep my seat. So I'm just like,
Oh, okay.
yes,
Then it's
yes,
fine. Then you know what? It's the postponed is not a big deal. The canceled sucks.
yes, it does.
But the
Yes,
postponed is, like you can live with that.
we can deal with it.
Yeah, it'll be fine.
No worries, no worries. Okay, cool. Zoe, thank you so much for being a part of the show. I appreciate your time. I
Thank you.
appreciate all the effort that you put into your work, and keep on doing it.
Thank you.
That's what we all want to see.
You as well.
Uh, thank you, and make sure that you follow Zoe. Sorry.
Follow
Make
Joe
sure-
Rogan and Zoe.
Make sure you follow Zoe on all the platforms that you can, wherever you stream, Instagram, Facebook, all that stuff. And make sure that you follow For the Culture Canada on all the streaming platforms that you like listening to us on. Subscribe to us on YouTube and follow us on Instagram and everywhere else. And I hope you enjoyed this podcast. I hope you have a good rest of your day. See ya.